Hey guys, so this is React City and this is Reactcast. I'm John.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is Reactcast. So, we had a lot of things happen this week, including the fact that Death Note finished. It is one of the first poll shows that we ever had. Yeah. It was a very emotional journey, so of course we're going to talk about Death Note in this episode. Massive spoiler warning. You have been warned. It's a really good show. Go check it out if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just wanted to go over. So, originally, Light's just kind of like there on the floor, same as we saw in the show, except Ryuk is in the room. And he's like, all right, can you write their names for me? Because I'm kind of all out of moves here.
Yeah.
And Ryuk just says, sure. And he starts to write the names. And then the whole task force just like open fires on Ryuk. But the bullets obviously go through him. Mm-hmm. And he writes down Light's name. Because he says, you lost. That's it.
Okay.
So why do you think they would change it from that? Because that seems like a dramatic ending. Because he's like, yeah, I got you guys. You're going to die. And they're like, oh, no.
Oh, that's true. True.
He begs for a while. Like, the manga is really focused on he realizes he's going to get killed by a Death Note. Mm-hmm. So that's very different. His own comeuppance of dying the way he's been making so many others die.
Mm. It definitely would have been a different feeling of the end, because the way they did it in the anime is almost like, it feels more, I don't know, it's not more epic or grand, it's more poetic. Yeah. You see him running and seeing his past self and just running and running and running. Yeah. Like he's trying to run away from what he's done with his life, only to die tragically alone by the Death Note that he wielded so terribly. You know? So I feel like, and the fact that no one will be able to kill him or punish him, he just dies, as opposed to like getting shamed more in front of everybody, like kill them, kills him, you know.
Yeah,
I think it's a different way of looking at the ending, but I appreciate the ending they went with on the anime.
You have any thoughts with that? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, when I was watching reading it, it did feel very. I wanted to say that it seemed like they were kind of going for like a cathartic ending in the manga, where you're seeing this guy who's always high on his horse finally understanding what it's like to know that you're about to get killed by something that's out of your control. But it didn't deliver in that emotion. I was just reading it and it's just like, man, that's a sad way to go. And then it just ends.
Yeah. That's how it feels like it would.
Yeah, but in this, it has like a solemn ending. You see him running away. You see the kid he could have been past him. And it's like a tragedy in the way they play it out there. And I think at that point, they probably realized most of the people who watch the show kind of like Light, so they don't really like catharsis.
This is true. Isn't it weird, like, as a person who unfortunately had a liking for Light, I still thought he got a deserved end, but I do feel like, wow, that was so tragic. Poor Light. Why didn't he change, you know? Kind of had some hope for him, so maybe you're right. Like, if they did go with the manga way, it wouldn't have panned out so well, fan-wise. Or maybe they did get, like, a feedback from the manga, and maybe there was, like, a lot of dissent. They're like, well, let's try something different for the anime.
There has to be a reason they changed it.
Yeah. So drastically, too.
Very. But you know what else has drastically changed? So this is also a fun fact. Have you ever seen what Ryuk originally was supposed to look like?
No.
Well, so he had some concept art and then he threw it out. Okay. So I'll put this up on the screen for you guys at the same time. Okay. Behold. Oh, wait,
what a wonderful
Behold.
Picture. Patched up human. But why?
That would have given a very different feeling, wouldn't it?
It wouldn't,
with a human face that looks so Playboy-like.
Yeah. It would have given an I see dead people vibe instead of like a Shinigami from another world kind of vibe.
Yeah. And people would ship him with other beings, human beings. Light. Yeah. And the great thing with Ryuk is like he is very singular and single.
He's very
by himself.
He's very like, as a character, you don't feel much for him either way.
No, you don't.
And yet he still has very much a presence whenever he's there.
And isn't that interesting? Because it kind of reflects his own character. Because he is that way, where he doesn't care either way. He's just like, oh, this is fun, I'll watch. And it's kind of, we view him the same way as this external character just watching. So we don't connect to him. Versus this guy,
it would feel so like a person.
We'd be so much more invested in this guy.
Yeah.
Why is does he like apples? Is it stems from some background trauma?
Yeah, it would be like, is he actually like a person? Was he a person at one point?
Oh my gosh,
Did
it
he
would
use the
open
notebook?
up those doors.
Did he? Yeah.
It would open up those doors about the lore of the Shinigami even further. Like, there'd be a lot more crazy stories.
I couldn't really find anywhere that sourced why they changed the concept art, aside from it just felt like it fit better for it to be an otherworldly monster, kind of like you guys are saying, injecting yourself into this world, other than this.
Something so similar to our world.
I feel like the whole show would have changed, especially because this guy, this writer, is... is he a gardener? He's a gardener where he makes his characters makes his characters and let them do what they want. I could see this going a direction where he didn't originally intend, where relationships happen with this, or feelings, kind of like how Rem ends up dying because of whatever. He would maybe come close because he's too emotionally invested in something. That would have happened more easily with this character, I think. My thoughts.
Because he'd actually have facial expressions.
Exactly. Unless they drew him with like a deadpan all the time, like Ryuk. Ryuk just always has his
always smiling.
Like a mask.
Wide open eyes.
So I also saw someone do an interesting write-up. I forgot to credit where I found this. It was just during my search on the internet for people talking about the show. And someone basically was saying in their belief that Mello is really the guy who won by the end of all this.
Really?
And so he says it because, and here's his case. So he figured, the way his plan works is he had to figure out both Light's plan and Nier's plan.
Yeah.
So that's how he knew Nier was going to lose the game in the first place. So he intervened and kidnapped Takeda to force Light's hand. Because he knew that Nier's plan was going to end with them in the warehouse, and it was not going to work because they didn't know where the real Death Note was.
Right.
So by doing this and dying in the process, he proved to everyone that he was the better successor, and that individually they couldn't have surpassed L. So that was kind of his way of giving a middle finger to Nier, but at the same time, I did it. I managed to beat both, therefore I have to be the best.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Didn't think of that. Yeah. I mean, I did glance a few comments talking about Mello. I'm trying to remember what the one I saw. Something about, they felt the worst, like Mello got the worst end of the stick. Or something, which I think we kind of talked about a little bit. But I never thought of this like he's the smartest.
He's the real winner.
Yeah, because he didn't even take much information from Nier when they met. All he learned, I can't even remember exactly.
It was
what
like
he
it's
learned.
on the task force.
And Nier just said, I have an idea of who it is. So Mello was working with very little information compared to Nier, and Nier's resources on top of that. Yeah. So Mello.
So how do you rank these guys? Do you have individual rankings for the people in Death Note who played the great game between Light and Nier and all that?
Who are we ranking exactly? Nier, Mello, L, Light?
Nier, Mello, L, Light. You can throw Naomi in there. You can throw her husband, the guy who was originally in the Ray Pember. The chief. Like who do you think stood out that you didn't expect to stand out?
Matsuda in a bad way, but well, honestly, I still feel like L was still a better detective than the other two. Yeah, because like technically they even admitted it. They were like, together we surpassed L. I'm like, no, you didn't though. If both of you have to get together to surpass the one person, you didn't actually do that.
Yeah.
You know,
personally, that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Not because we surpassed L or anything, but because I really don't like the idea of, and now we're left with a worse version of L, which even if it is together we're better than L, Mello is dead. He is gone, so it's just Nier now. Yeah. So it just feels like it felt like a cheap imitation is taking over the mantle of L. Even if he's still extraordinary and will probably win every case because no one's on a level of Light.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's true.
Maybe he learns from this and decides I need more initiative or something like that.
Yeah. He did mention that Mello had the initiative that he didn't have. Right.
In the stats book, that's Mello's trump card. He is willing to act where Nier is very passive.
I guess that plays out, and I can see that how it played out, especially where Mello is the one who initiated the kidnapping and forced Light to like give up a Death Note, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So and did a lot that
join the mafia.
Nier did not.
Yeah, Nier was just kind of given the U.S. task force because he had the mantle of L technically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only reason it helped him.
Interesting.
You don't have anything ranked?
Oh, right, that part. No, I don't. I was thinking, just L is way above anyone else in the show.
Matt's great.
Who's Matt?
Exactly.
Yeah. Matt's a good guy.
Oh, I know. I just thought of somebody.
Oh, okay.
Although it's kind of a point of contention.
Okay.
Giovanni.
Actually, yes.
Copying an entire book and the handwriting in one night.
Seriously.
Incredible.
Sneaking in and following Mikami. I wonder really if Mikami knew the whole time. I just was like, I'm just gonna wait for orders and just continue my life as if I'm not being followed.
Well, if he knew, he wouldn't have gone to the lockbox.
That's right. So I guess he didn't know. Yeah, Giovanni is the GOAT. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A man's went in after known mass murderer.
Many times.
Took a book.
A lot.
Many times.
Oh my gosh. He was our man in the field right there.
For a briefest of moments, what's his name?
Matsuda?
No, the guy he was trailing. I can't remember his name.
Mikami.
Yeah, Mikami could actually say, "Oh, who's that over there? It's my FBI agent." The meme was real for him.
Incredible.
I also wanted to just make mention of this. So this is the Akira story. It takes place 1 year after the events of... Wait, what the heck? It just deleted the tab. Did you see that?
Yeah, it's weird.
The Akira story takes place 1 year after the events of Death Note, and it's essentially the same kind of plot line where a Shinigami drops a Death Note into the world and someone else takes it, but this time it's just Nier versus this person. So it's a one-shot, meaning it's a very short but longer than a usual chapter. So I see right there it's 87 pages. And I was talking with Nikki the other day about how you can't really follow up Death Note, and we were talking about it, and you said how you never really would want to read or see another Death Note because it's just going to have to be a replay of the other one, just not as cool. So do you guys have any feelings on the Death Note universe or any continuations?
I feel like in order to have a continuation of any kind, the entire, like pretty much everything would have to be different enough for it to be a different story. Like we'd have to, like, they just find a book sometimes there's like no instructions in it, and like later on in the story we put piece together that it might be a Death Note kind of thing, so that like we are completely set in a different environment kind of.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's basically what I was thinking. Like they established so much in Death Note, they'd have to upend a lot of it. And for hearing that this is still against Nier, it's like, what are Nier's newest tricks? I feel like he'll have some because he's supposed, he's a genius. But I don't know. And like I said, I think I said Nier has grown into his own character for me, but he's not the most compelling character. So the most compelling characters were Light and L, and after L left, it was just Light.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. All the rest were nice supporting characters, but they were just that, supporting characters. And then Nier was just another guy L had to overcome. He was just a kind of a roadblock. His character to me wasn't not larger than life like L. So
like L
for him
was like the giant wave that comes in, and then Nier was like the wave that chases after.
Yeah. So to have another show that the main character is supposedly not at Nier and some other new guy, I'm not excited.
Someone had summed it up pretty well with saying, a Monster of the Week type show, if Death Note was like that from the beginning, would have allowed for Nier to do something like that. Him come in and then start dealing with all these individual people with Death Note. But the problem is that Light wasn't just a Monster of the Week. He was the monster.
Yeah.
There can be nothing better or greater than him. Otherwise, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And what's even worse is, even though it's longer than a regular chapter, it's just a one shot, so he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Unless they do something completely different and like make him win, and no, sorry guys, the world is now under Kira forever, and he's a young guy, so he's gonna live forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They would have to move away from the whole Kira concept in order for it to feel like moving on in any kind of way. Like the reason that they're killing people is completely different.
Right.
Yeah.
Not really to be justice or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be easy to do, because Light was a very particular character. But what I was going to say, it doesn't seem like too much of that. I guess I'm judging a book by its title, Kira.
It's very similar.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so
I mean, I saw him eating an apple and everything.
Yeah, he's trying too much.
But yeah, I mean, that's the world of Death Note. It's something that I kind of want more from, but I don't know what I want from it.
I know what I want from it.
What do you want from it?
If I just thought of what would be the perfect one shot, but I don't think that the author would want to do it just because he's left it in the dark so much.
Light as a Shinigami?
No.
Okay.
The Shinigami, just the Shinigami.
Just him?
Yeah.
Just chilling?
I want no, not just the Shinigami chilling, like some sort of
like proactive Shinigami.
No, a view into the life of the Shinigami, or the history of the Shinigami, or how the connection between why the Shinigami go to Earth at all. Like what some sort of lore there. That I would read.
Yeah.
/ watch.
Yeah. And I was going to move on from Death Note unless you guys had something else to say there.
No.
Oh, okay. So, SpyxFamily's mangaka is Mr. Endo, I believe. And so what's interesting is the way he came up with it. So he started drawing manga at the age of 13.
Oh.
And in fact, I was reading through his little interview here, and apparently his editor has been with him for a very long time, Mr. Lin. And for a good period of time, Mr. Lin would be traveling with him everywhere because the company knew he was talented, but he's way too young to be alone.
Oh,
so he
that's
just
so cute.
It's like you have to be a chaperone too.
So he's been with him from the beginning. But so what happened is SpyxFamily came about because the mangaka, he didn't really care about what he was writing because he had fallen into a writer slump, as he says. SpyxFamily is a rehabilitation work for me to revive as a mangaka when I fell into a slump, said Endo. So he was never particularly invested in SpyxFamily, and he had other ideas that he wanted to pursue, but SpyxFamily exploded to such a degree that that's kind of his thing now. Tale as old as time, like famously Sir Arthur Conan Doyle kind of got sick of Sherlock Holmes because he liked to write about historical characters, but Sherlock Holmes paid the bills.
Yeah.
And fans would get very angry, like some of the earliest versions of fan hate when he tried to kill off Sherlock.
Tried to kill him?
Oh,
Yeah.
you don't know?
No.
Well, spoilers, I guess.
Yeah. I said tried. So, but yeah, so that's been a long-running issue. So it's funny to see this come around full circle to the new age, I guess.
I can imagine like he Sherlock dies at the end of one. He gets like massive fan hate. It's like, okay, he didn't actually die. He jumped off a cliff into some water.
You know what's weird is that's legit what happened.
Oh my gosh!
Oh wow.
I was just wondering, like, have you guys ever seen or experienced something similar where there's something you just didn't want to do but it was successful, or you've seen someone make something that suddenly became popular that you just like, wow, you're stuck in that now?
Oh yeah, there's actually you remember Captain Sparkles on YouTube?
No.
He was a Minecraft YouTuber. He made the what do you call it?
The music videos?
The music videos for Minecraft King. What I forget what. It was a dare from his friend to rename his channel to Captain Sparkles.
Oh no!
And then he blew up.
And he got stuck with that.
Yeah.
Yikes!
Does he hate the name?
He didn't express like a particular amount of hate. He was just like, I'm stuck with this now.
Wow.
Do you know what his name was before?
No, he listed a couple of them because he wasn't stuck on anything at the time. But I don't remember any of them.
Man, it's such a strange thing to continually change your name. Why would you change your channel name on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't be me.
But did you have anything about that?
No, I was racking my brain. I can't think of anything. I have thought of artwork that I've done that was like, this sucks. What the heck? But I posted it and it got like more likes than things I actually liked, which is that's very common for artists though. So, and I have been very careful as an artist to not do the same thing over and over. Number one, I get bored very easily. Number two, I don't want to get a following for one particular thing and then get stuck there, because I know myself, I don't want to draw one thing all over again. So yeah, I do remember like a couple of times where like, of course that one is what everybody likes.
Yeah.
I have a bone to pick with that kind of thing.
What?
Because there have been so many times where I have seen video game developers or show makers who made something amazing, and all we wanted
was another one.
Was more of that. And they're artists. They can't get stuck in a box. I want to make more things. Oh, you thought that was great? Let me make this. And just make crap. And just like, listen, you're famous because we liked that. Make more of that.
Listen.
And they're like, but I want to be free. It's the most annoying thing when you come across something you love and you realize it's an artist.
Listen. Yeah. My counter to that is, I say there's a middle ground. If you are in this art business, let's just talk about art. You're in this art business to make money, to grow a following, then find what people like and keep doing that because you want to grow, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't care, I'm just making things for me. I don't care if you like it. You like it, great, good for you. No, I think I cannot live in this world to make other people happy, and I will stand with those artists who make artists.
You see, that's the painful thing, is that would be fine if it weren't for the fact that the reason usually that you come across something that's exceptional is because they're an artist and that they did something different. Mm-hmm. And because they did something different, and it not only was different, it was actually good. Mm-hmm. And so in a way they discovered something that people wanted but they didn't know. Mm-hmm. But because they're an artist, they keep moving.
Yeah.
But the problem with ideas is everyone has 1,000 of them, but like 4 are good.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, please come back. Like, no, I'm soaring through the sky.
Well, I think it's a good thing in that, if you go with that analogy, that yes, this one person has discovered an idea that works, but believe me, there are sharks out there who are like, oh, you like that? You want more? And they'll give you more of that thing because they know people like it.
Inferior copycats.
True, for a little bit though. For a little bit. And then you'll find the person who actually fell in love with that idea. I'm like, no, I want to do this for my life. And then you'll get like shows like Attack on Titan or My Hero Academia that come out with a good, or ReZero,
Isekais.
It's Isekais. ReZero art, writer, he definitely tried something different, but he stuck with it. As opposed to an artist who is just keeping it going, as you say.
Yeah.
That's aside.
So Japan has been hit recently with another wave of COVID, and it spiked very rapidly, and it has affected the anime industry again. In that, so Isekai Ojisan, remember, he was getting all those weird delays. The reason is the studio itself, like a lot of people in it, got hit with COVID, and they tried limping along, but they decided, okay, we're just going to restart from October 6th. Because we'd say, okay, we got hit with COVID, give us a week, we'll come in next episode. Next week, 1 episode, alright, it's really bad, we'll give us 2 weeks. And so that's the kind of thing happened in August. But that really hurts the pacing of gathering like a following. And especially when everyone is used to watching weekly. So if you go 2 weeks, sometimes people just forget about you. If you're only on episode 2, they're not invested. So like, okay, if we want to give this show a fair shot and we put so much effort into it, stop airing the show. We'll come back in October where everyone should be okay. And we'll continue from there.
Okay, so they're like taking it all down, basically, and reposting.
Well, I don't know if they're taking it down, but their statement is we're just going to restart on October 6th. Yeah. So they're from episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. That's what I'm saying. So it looks like reposting. At least maybe in Japanese sites. Maybe not in America. Like if it's already up there, they're not gonna.
I wonder why they feel like they have to restart though, because Isekai Oji-san is it's not plot heavy, there's not It's like that individual stories per episode kind of thing, with like a little string of continuity going through there.
Maybe they intend to thicken the string.
That they might.
They're hints.
There are hints that something's wrong with this family.
So maybe maybe they want to keep a momentum and to keep the hints strong in your mind, so that when the episode comes where it hits, they're like, wait a minute, and flashbacks will come. But if they wait till October to post the next one, there's no flashbacks. You won't remember. It's just an idea. Perhaps maybe they have plans for a thicker plot.
I mean, the studio got criticism in general for having been open up to this point. Considering how many people had COVID, and they're trying to push through it. But that's not the only thing that got hit. So Call of the Night, we were talking about the mangaka also had to take a 1 week hiatus because he said he got the disease that's going around that has to be COVID. He's talking about.
That's so funny. That thing.
1 second, my throat.
Like a transformer noise. Transformers. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, really? You're supposed to do that?
No.
You start like with your lips out and you move back slowly.
They have to have 3 low sounds in the beginning.
Where did you learn this?
Well, there was an episode
of Transformers?
Yeah, there was an episode of Transformers where everyone got transformed into humans, and they were like, oh, we can't stop the villains because we're humans. But they figured out they can transform, but the only way is they had to make the noise with their mouth. And so that allowed us to transform. It's like, I can't transform, you have to do this. And then that's how it worked.
So it's not to clear your throat?
No.
Okay, so why were you doing it to clear your throat?
We do a little trolling. So that takes us to Rose Rants, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Is Call of the Night the one where the vampire kid?
Yes.
Oh,
well,
I never saw
Insomniac.
Insomniac.
She's the vampire above him.
Wow, nice art.
Yeah.
I like.
Yes, this is quite good. I can put it up on screen for you guys. Quick thing, Mob Psycho also has a stage play. It came out in 2018, and the third one is August 2021. I just want to make mention of that because we make fun of stage plays.
Why?
How?
Wait, Mob singing? Is it a musical?
A stage play.
Just a stage
so
play?
I assume it's singing.
I hope he's not singing. Not necessarily. Musicals are still singing. Stage plays could be just drama.
He might do some rhythm speaking.
Rhythms? Oh.
Rhythmic speaking.
One of these days,
Accidental
I
rap,
feel like
maybe.
this long-running joke's gonna end up with us actually watching
A stage play!
It's gonna be like, oh, it's so bad.
No!
We're gonna come back from it's like, our whole life has been a lie. It was amazing.
I know. You know what I was thinking when you guys said that? When, in Hey Arnold, do you guys remember the episode in Hey Arnold where the Helga and her father were watching Cats, like a musical, The Cats? Do you remember?
No.
You guys don't remember?
No.
I guess you're too young. It was they were watching Cats in the beginning. They're watching it, and the father's making fun of it, and Helga is just kind of not really into it because she doesn't get along with her father much. Mm-hmm. Whole episode goes through. They get closer, bonding, bad things bond, whatever. And then in the end, they're both watching Cats together, and both are laughing at it. They're like, it's just so terrible, oh my gosh. I'm wondering if, like, when we're watching it, if we're going to just be making fun of it the whole time, or if we're actually going to enjoy it.
We're just going to be like in the episode in Avatar, just like everybody sitting in the back. It's like, what the heck is that?
And Bradley players. It's weird. Cats is such a weird. It's like it's in the industry. It's revered as one of the plays.
Oh yeah, but
everywhere else, everyone's like, that is amazingly bad. Yes. And then ironically, the movie turned out to be one of the worst movies ever. So it's like it's cursed.
Yes.
But why?
Although it's a lot to do with the guy that produced the musical. He's done a lot of musicals into movies. He did Les Miserables.
Oh, that was actually decent, I heard.
So some people didn't like it, or the departure from the actual source material or something like that. But the musical, especially musical type people, didn't like it. I know. But I think the same is also true for the cats, because I don't know how, but I ended up watching like a 40-minute video on like a musical guy going into Cats the stage play versus the movie, and like, why am I here? But I enjoyed it. It was good. I don't remember the video name.
Was the video was good, or the Cats the stage play
good?
Okay, so did you learn anything? Like, what was he talking about?
I watched that like a year ago.
I remember you watching
information. I remember wanting you guys to watch it just to be like, cats. But
you showed me something from it. I can't remember what. Like a small snippet.
I wish I remember what I showed you, but it was a super interesting video, and I felt learned after.
Except you didn't learn.
It didn't stick. It was like cramming information.
Okay.
Cramming before a test, nothing stays.
Yeah, that's a curious idea, though. We were talking about artists thing earlier, but is there anything, because you're an artist, is there anything that you think you appreciate as an artist that other artists appreciate that everyone else just thinks is nothing? Because sometimes you'll look at some art like this right now, to me, is not very impressive.
Really?
But you took a moment of pause to appreciate this. So, like, is there something that you hold high that most people just don't appreciate because they're not in the business?
I think in general there are things artists will see that like normal people who don't draw
like,
will.
oh, look at those hands.
Yeah, hands. Oh my gosh, hands. Color combinations. Like that color scheme is like I feel the show through the color scheme. It's very, very well done. Like, and for me personally, I'm a emotions type of person. When I draw, I like to portray some sort of story in the person's face. Like when I do portraits, and when I look at this guy's face, you gotta put the picture up again. This guy's face, his expression, like the way they draw his eye, this triangular eye, like it's so angular, and then her angles of her hair, everything's kind of like the angles on their fingers, everything is just like talking to each other, so it feels like vampires to me. I don't know.
They're very pointy.
Yeah, so like I don't know, I guess I see like artists will see like shapes and I don't know, messages in the eye choices and the positions and the angles that people don't see. But I don't know, I think that's just a thing in general.
So you have a different lens on your eyes.
Yeah, exactly. I see extra.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, looking at it from the whole angular thing and looking in his eyes, you can like see the wistlessness in him there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have noticed that or even cared to notice that if you had mentioned something.
Yeah.
For
you
me,
gotta stare at it for a while.
it's like, because I've been artisting lately, I've been noticing the rendering and like choices of like lights and shadows, like especially when they do like the twilight golden hour type lighting. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh wait, do you mean like with a backlight?
That too.
That's my favorite. I love backlighting, especially orange backlighting. I do that a lot.
I like that, and when it's like it's super, if they're inside, if it's super dark inside and there's like a window with like twilight hour, golden hour lighting coming through, and they're just the characters walking through it, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful.
Death Note had that in the end.
And when there's like the glow around the light as well, not just like a sharp light coming down, like you see all of the
like particles in the air.
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah. And I think the reason you notice lighting is because you're more designer minded. And you see the design of the shapes of the lighting and everything, and photography and all of that you do. You pay attention to that more.
It's funny because there's sometimes I can't remember what manga it was in particular, but there was a criticism of it in that it was empty, in that the art was beautiful, but if you looked in the background, it was usually bare and there wasn't very much detail. But it wasn't like an artistic choice. It was almost like not laziness, but they didn't care to do anything there. Kind of like it was seen as a manga where people just, hey, consume this garbage because the average person will buy this. Like a money-making manga, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, I see.
And so then the backgrounds were kind of seen as a connection to how vapid the story was and how the characters were very soulless and just regular run-of-the-mill people. Like, there was nothing interesting there. And so that was seen as a point to that argument.
Oh, interesting.
I can kind of understand that because I've seen Japanese manga, and like you open the thing and you can't see anything. Yes, there's so just so much there. You can't see anything.
Too much detail. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying to stare at the page. I'm trying to make out what's happening, and I can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so much the screen things that they use.
Oh, yeah,
so much
the screen. Yeah.
I'm like, I can't see.
Oh my gosh. I guess maybe they're like overcompensating for, maybe it's a thing like in the industry where, or just in the mindset of people, you need to put 100% into everything. So then they put 100% everywhere. I think as an artist, it's important to pick and choose your battles, so to speak, of like your focus. You want your people to look a certain place, look a certain point, right? Look at the face, not the background, like 30 miles in the distance that there's a person sitting at their table drinking coffee, you know? I don't know. Is that funny?
Negative space is okay.
Yes.
I'm just pulling up this. I'm trying to find a good example. So, like, look at this in Berserk, right? He was considered a master of this. It's hyper detailed, but you can see everything that's happening.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm just trying to bring up a picture, but
you have to
link
click.
into link.
You have to go back.
Where'd it go?
There we go.
Yeah.
So this is just a casual. He's walking by, but a lot of the frames are just like this, where he decides to just do a striking pose that some would sometimes just call iconic. Everything is so strikingly detailed, but you can see everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And you can tell there's motion in the sword.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah. I think the difference here is there's a variation of texture and amount of detail in per like square inch. For example, you look at his crotch. I'm sorry. We're going to look at his crotch. There's a lot of little lines there and a lot of little shapes versus you look at his whole leg. It's like swaths of dark and light. So it breaks it up for your eyes. It doesn't feel straining, you know. So and then there's this bright white spot for his face. So you know that's where you're supposed to look. And then you kind of travel down the rest of his body and see all the other details and the little things in the back. So he's using all the detail, but like this is a smart use of detail. Like everything is sharp and crisp, but it's kind of hidden in the way he uses the detail, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was always impressed because like you're saying with the texture, the pattern recognition for all these different things. That's a flowing cape. Connected to his back, and that's a sword in motion, and this is his arm flexing, and this is his mustache. There's just so much going on for each and every panel. I don't know how he had that much work.
Can you imagine carpal tunnel?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Tendinitis.
But we're a little overdue for Rose Rants, so...
Let's see what I've been watching lately. I watched the latest episode of Isekai Ojisan.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my gosh, like I said before, there's something wrong with that family. There's a mental breakage that happens somewhere in their ancestry, and it's following them.
So you mean like the characters themselves seem mentally unstable kind of thing?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
But they're normal for the most part. But now that the Isekai Oji-san has these powers, he can actually like do things, and it's like you're not an idiot though, right? Like you know that this is weird. Right? And then the nephew too. It seems like he's playing off the whole thing with his friend, but it's like and he gives these weird faces sometimes. It's I'm trying to say it without giving anything away, so I'm just letting you be confused.
You're doing great. I love this.
Nice.
Keep going.
But yeah, that's Isekai Oji-san. I also watch more episodes of Shine on Bakumatsu Badboys.
What? I haven't heard of this one. You gotta talk about that one.
It takes place in historical Japan. The cover for it is so cool. You will be severely disappointed once you start watching. Yeah, look at the cover. It's so awesome. It looks like it's gonna be like one of those like, oh, it's a hardened person and we're trying to survive.
Mercenaries.
Yeah. Go to the right there. That's
lightsabers.
Yeah. It's like it's so not what I expected from the cover.
He has a broom.
He has a broom. He does have a broom.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like
it's the Power Rangers.
There was I forget what it's called already. The Shinsengumi. it's like a group of swordsmen.
Secret police.
Secret police, yeah. The original squad gets wiped out. But the leader, not the leader, one of the people who are a part of it survived, and he's now the leader, and he's trying to put back a pseudo team, and they're all criminals. He was like, you're all on death row, so like join me or die. It's your choice.
That's such a like a what do you call it? Trope? A bit of a trope, yeah. Where it's like take the
yeah.
He's the leader.
He's the leader guy.
Good. Yeah.
And it's like. It's not. It's really not as metal as it sounds. The main character's pose is like the thing that he does is he kind of has a mohawk, so it goes like this on his mohawk, and it's like let's go, and it's like bro,
that's so cringe.
That's so weird.
Biker gang.
Is this the same show?
Yes.
That looks cool.
It's.
I know.
It's not.
He doesn't have an eye.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know how to explain it to you. I don't know how to explain it to you.
It's okay. I believe
they're like, if colors had a personality.
That's why I said it looked like Power Rangers. This reminds you a little bit of Demon Slayer, though. Even that other picture with all of them with the lightsabers, the drawing looked like Demon Slayer.
I constantly wonder why the leader guy honestly looks like he's 12. Like in motion, for like not that picture, but in motion, he just looks. It's not even the shortness, his face. He looks like a child. It's been fun watching it so far, honestly. But
do they go to lightsaber high school?
No, they're not in high school. But the swords are infused with like something's going on with the swords having to do with the previous squad.
Oh, so they inherited the swords.
Yeah.
Okay, so the swords, like, are they like what we wish lightsabers were, where they change color based on you? Like,
no. It's more based off of the person who had the sword before it.
Oh.
But of course, everybody somehow color matched with the perfect sword. Because
like, I have red hair. I want the red one.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do? Like, what do they fight? Monsters or people?
They're fighting people who have monster powers, kind of. The other side also have the same kind of swords, but they're like bad version. They're purple and they're evil. And the good side swords only really activate when they're fighting those bad swords. Have some sort of powers. It's really not. They don't go into it very much.
I guess they want to hold off.
They're like, it's something to do with the souls. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, can you imagine the souls are actually in the swords? Like, that's how the guy lost his people. They were all absorbed by the swords.
Absorbed by the swords. Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't know how to explain it because there's blood. Like, people die. But it's like somehow this is still like a child's show.
It's very cute.
I don't know how. Yeah.
It's done the opposite of Osama Ranking. Osama Ranking looks like a child's show and has like the most metal scenes, and then this looks like super awesome, gory, most childlike gory you'll ever see.
How would you compare it to Demon Slayer? Because it kind of looks thematically.
Oh, not even close.
Well, not in quality, but like in terms of violence.
Not even close.
Okay.
It's like the fight scenes aren't really. They're not fighty. They're swinging swords at each other a little bit, and some flips happen. But it's not like, oh, did you see that move kind of thing. Not like Demon Slayer.
So it's just like a maybe B, C tier show.
Yeah.
It sounds C tier.
Yeah.
It was be like if somebody brought up the show, it's like, oh, have you seen this anime? I'd be like, yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good. But if somebody's asking me like what anime I would recommend, this is not
never coming up.
No.
All right. Have you checked out any other shows, or are those just those two?
I think it's just those two. I rewatched some SpyxFamily.
Oh, that's right.
It's
I passed her doing that.
I love
was
it.
like, I thought Spy Family's not coming back out yet. It's like, yeah, I know. It's like, what are you watching,
It's
Spy
like,
Family? Why?
Good old days.
She's rewatching Spy Family.
Good. And like, I know it was good, but rewatching it again, I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
I think we should have reacted to that.
Yeah.
There's honestly nothing to discuss. But I mean, if you guys want to watch it just for mostly reaction-based stuff, that would be cool. But I don't really think there is much to talk about afterwards.
I'm gonna be stone-faced the entire time.
No jokes get you.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.
Oh my gosh. What was I thinking? I was thinking maybe it would be best to do it like close to when it's like just come out, like just released everything or something, if we were to watch it. But I think we should, if we ever do it, to like wait till we have another lull. So we know a bunch of shows are coming up right now, so we'll wait till like after that.
Or if we're watching, there's like a lot of heartbreaking shows. We can use it as a
throw in Spy Family
palate cleanser, you know.
Yeah.
Like Cells at Work was for ReZero and Attack on Titan.
Yeah. I remember we were kind of like, when we had to have those in between.
And then Cells at Work Black. That did things.
Yeah.
I remember watching Cells at Work as I wasn't watching it for like there's a lot of shows that we watch and I watch the shows and like I can't wait to watch this show or I'm excited to see what happens, but you can't do it with Cells at Work because it's a comedy, the original one. So when I sat down to watch it, I would sit down to be like, okay, time to watch the girls' daycare. like I watched it as I'm letting you two chill out.
Yeah.
And that was why I am coming to watch this show.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
I still had fun watching it sometimes, but it's just that's the only show that I've ever watched as alright, let's chill them out a little bit.
It looks like they're gonna keel over. Cells at Work, please.
Rejuvenation, please.
But yeah, we have one more. I was gonna say next time the podcast comes, we'd have the October show blast off, but I guess that's the one after this one. So for the 20th podcast, we'll be talking about My Hero coming back, and I think Mob Psycho coming back as well.
Mob Psycho is supposed to be coming back the 6th.
Yes, Mob Psycho.
Yeah, so about the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and also by the time it comes to the next one, we're gonna be watching whatever wins the poll.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
That's going to be interesting. So I won't tell you guys to vote now because if you guys are seeing this to vote now, you probably have already passed.
Yeah, it's like 4 weeks later.
But yeah, thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you liked your time here, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, check out the Patreon description if you guys want to see like these a whole month early or you want to see other shows uncut or a week early for the regular stuff. But either way, thanks very much for being here and we'll see you around. Goodbye.
Bye.